My comment?
Yes. Mamatha?
Sir.
Is it Mamatha or Mamatha?
Sir, it is Mamatha.
Mamatha?
Yes, sir.
But then why THA?
Sir, in Kannada, if we put TA for ta and ta, it is THA.
You have civil engineering.
Yes, sir.
You have taken literature.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Sir, I have chosen literature as my optional for two reasons. One being my father is also a Kannada teacher, and I got interest in learning about Kannada literature, but I didn't get opportunity because I moved in a science stream later. And the second thing is I was familiar with Kannada right from my school days, and I was academically good in Kannada.
Civil engineering is a subject as an optional also.
Yes, sir.
You studied it for 4 or 5 years.
Sir, since I was familiar with Kannada since from my young age, I felt to choose Kannada than civil engineering.
Why your mother's income is zero?
Sir, currently the care economy, which includes the housewife's contribution, it is not counted in the GDP. Hence, the contribution of an housewife is
Counting into GDP is only the source which we can say she might be having one bank account also. Some money is being deposited from the sources, whatever it is.
Sir, she is not earning anything, though she is working all the days. So,
would you also be called as housewife once you are married and you are not working or doing anything?
Sir, housewife is a woman who takes in charge of an household is said to be a housewife. If I am married, I will also become a housewife, but that will be my personal life.
I said, would you be like to be called as housewife or something else, even if you are not working and you are a wife?
Sir, I would like to be called as a housemaker.
So that is the term you would have used over here also. Okay. And you have done in 2017, you are not working anywhere. Don't you think that you are wasting your caliber and education, whatever the technical education you have got?
Sir, civil service exam itself gives an opportunity to sit for the exam till 6 attempts, and I feel if I get selected into the service, I will be able to use my degree knowledge in future.
In earlier chances, to which level you reached, either interview level or main level?
So this is my first interview.
First interview. And how many times main?
Sir, one time.
One time. This is the one time or earlier also?
This is the first time I have cleared mains. And
what was the deficiency you were finding not getting into main or not getting into interviews?
Sir, during my initial attempts, since I didn't get any guidance, I did not understand the demand of UPSC. I was totally deviated.
You are from civil engineering in the very good institute from Bangalore. How can we assume that you did not have any guidance?
Sir, I was very introvert and I thought that UPSC
So did you change your attitude now, intro to extro?
Yes, sir.
You are discussing with friends or somebody else?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Your father is a teacher.
Yes, sir.
Teaching is really an extraordinary career.
Yes, sir.
How do you think the underprivileged, they need to be taught even if they are not going to school? How can they be taught?
Sir, there are NGOs and individuals who have been teaching these kids. For example, I think we know about Super 30 person who is to teach mathematics to get into IIT.
Where it is Super 30?
Sir,
in Bihar.
Yes, sir, Bihar.
Run by one IPS officer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, which part of civil engineering is interesting to you?
Sir, I'm interested in highway engineering.
Highway engineering.
Yes, sir.
What is cut and fill method?
So cut and fill method, it is decided while aligning the highway where at certain section the material has to be removed, at certain section it has to be filled to maintain a uniform.
In which topography it is?
Sir, it is in the uneven terrain or the hilly terrain.
The right term you are using. Uneven terrain, that is true, but sometimes it is only undulating and that is also uneven. Like Rajasthan, Gujarat. It is only in the hills.
Yes.
There you can cut partly hills and fill the rest to make the width of the road. What is cantilever bridges?
Sir, Cantilever Bridge is a bridge where the one end is supported and other end is free.
Where is it useful?
Sir, it is used where the obstruction does not require support at both the ends.
Okay. National highway is that they are being made, and now all four corners of India are being joined or they are being joined. What has happened that the width is increasing and we are leaving very less area for plantation on the roadsides. What we should do to combine the construction with greenery? What we should do now?
Sir, we have to, there is a provision that 1% of the road construction fund has to be allocated for the plantation along the highways. There are added advantage that if we plant plants along the highway, that the traffic moving in the opposite direction, the light glaring effects can be minimized.
That is for the, whatever you are saying is for the road sides.
Yes, sir. In the median we have to plant plants.
But that is service area basically. Where we used to have telephone lines, we have electrical lines.
Sir, I think
signing boards.
While designing itself, while acquiring the land, we have to make sure that we have adequate
Not acquiring, while designing. The word is designing the roads.
Sorry, sir. While designing the roads, we have to make sure that we have adequate place for medians.
And we should not plant big trees in the middle so that its roots should not damage the service.
Yes, sir.
You know, can you just can you explain to a person who does not know about the debate surrounding Lingaites in Karnataka?
Lingayat was a sect which they are the followers of Basavanna during the 12th century. They follow the rituals and practices which are slightly different from the present Hindu religion. And they do not believe in temple worship, idol worship, and they believe in gender equality and more of social equality.
So what is their demand?
Ma'am, currently they are demanding to get minority status for the religion.
Is it justified?
No, ma'am, because certain factions in the Lingayat community itself, they are not supporting the minority status.
No, but is it justified for them to claim a minority status? Within the section might have some differences, but as a whole?
No, ma'am.
Why?
Ma'am, to define minority sections, minority status, there are certain criteria, I feel, and the community is relatively doing well in the Karnataka state, and we need other measures for the development than just minority status, getting minority status.
Okay. See, most of the people who are from the north, whenever you refer to them from a person or when they're talking to a person from the south, they immediately label them as a Madrasi. Okay. How would you differentiate between the four states then? How would you explain that no, it's not the same and I'm from Karnataka?
Ma'am, our cultural and the way we excuse me, ma'am, I'll take the language.
That's okay. That's okay.
Sorry.
Just think about it, because then you can talk about the history, you can talk about the social, the language, the culture, everything. You can describe it that way. Right? Just think about it. Okay. What is the difference between language and script?
Language and script. Ma'am, a script is a written form of a language which contains the alphabetics and the words of a language. Language, it's a spoken dialect of any community or a region.
How does knowing a language helps? Suppose if I know more than one language, how would it help me?
Ma'am, language helps to connect with the people very easily, and people will easily get connected if we talk in their own language, and they feel very comfortable and compatible if we speak in their language.
Apart from the means of communication, comfort.
Sorry, I'm not able to think.
That's okay. Okay, any 3 laws which have been introduced in the recent past to enhance the status of women in India?
Ma'am, one is Dowry Prohibition Act.
Which was there earlier also.
Yes, the recent one being the Triple Talaq bill, and the SHE Act, Sexual Harassment at Workplace Prevention Act, and the other one being reservation in the panchayats, local bodies.
That has also been there earlier. Triple Talaq, there is a lot of debate. A lot of people say that it has not been really good for the community, or women themselves have not accepted or not liked it. They say that it is not one step forward but rather 2 steps backward.
Ma'am, but few other factions have supported the law because the arbitrary announcement of the talaq has been stopped by enacting this bill, because the many of the Islamic state itself, they are not following triple talaq.
Okay. There have been some changes in the Maternity Benefit Act. What were the changes?
Ma'am, earlier it was 24 weeks. Now it has been extended to 26 weeks. Along with that, paternity provision for the paternity leave has also been included.
Why it has been extended to 26 weeks?
In certain exceptional cases, the abnormalities in the fetus are detected even after 24 weeks. And taking into consideration the health of the child and the mother, it has been extended. And in order to encourage women to continue in their working, the paid benefit has been extended.
And most important is the feeding period. That's the feeding period which is recommended.
Thank you, ma'am. I didn't know that.
Pampa, Ponna and Ranna.
Yes, sir.
Do you know them?
Yes, sir. They are called as three Ratnas of ancient Kannada.
Ancient Kannada literature.
Yes, sir.
So, tell me some great contribution
So, sir.
of these 3 authors.
So Pampa, he was a 10th century poet during the Rashtrakuta time. He is called as the Adikavi of Kannada because he laid the foundation of Kannada literature. During his time, he introduced a novel method of writing, where he one of his work is dedicated to the religion which he belongs to, and the other work is related to expressing a gratitude towards the person who was patronizing him.
He is they are 3 Ratna.
Yes, sir.
And some people are also known as 3 Ratna.
Yes, sir.
Of Karnataka, Kannada poetry or the Karnataka poetry or music.
Yes, sir.
Who are they?
Sir, one is Puti Narasimhachar, Kuvempu, and the other one Bendre.
No. Who is Syama Shastri, Muthuswami and Tyagraj?
Sir, these were
Karnataka music.
yes, sir.
They are 3 Ratna of the 3 Murti of the Karnataka music.
No, sir.
Tyagraj,
These were
Muthuswami and Syama Shastri.
so these people existed during 16th century, and they are the saints.
Yes.
Sir, in my knowledge, they do not belong to Karnataka. Because Tyagaraja
They
belong to
are from the
Telangana.
Karnataka music.
So they belong to Andhra Pradesh. From Karnataka, Purandaradasa, Kanakadasa were there.
But they are Trimurti of the Karnataka music.
Carnatic music.
Yes.
Sorry, sir, I didn't get. Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. So you're not, you have a very least interest in foreign relation. You have given 6 options, Indian foreign, so don't want to go outside.
Sir, I believe that since my caliber lies close to the people, hence I have chosen IAS and IPS, but I am willing to take up the other service including IFS if I get.
Okay. So what is significance of renaming Indo-Pacific, the Asia Pacific into Indo-Pacific?
Sir, USA and other countries.
Other countries means?
Japan, Australia, the major countries in the Indo-Pacific region.
So what the India's role will change after renaming this?
Sir, India will become a net security provider in the region, and to an extent it will reduce the Chinese dominance which is ongoing in the South Asian nations.
Do you think that India is anywhere in Pacific?
Sorry sir, I don't know.
Anywhere in the entire globe, in the Pacific Ocean? Do you have any presence? Then what role as a security provider you will be having?
So we recently, the Quad grouping has been formed, which consists of countries like Japan, USA and Australia, including India. So that itself makes India a strategic security provider.
Regarding Quad, have you read yesterday's newspaper? The US Secretary of State what said? What is the role of Quad?
I am not aware with the yesterday's news, sorry, but...
have you read the today's newspaper?
I will read in the evenings.
You will read in the evening.
Yes.
So you read this newspaper only for examination?
Sir, to be honest, yes, I have been reading newspaper when I came into civil services.
What about our general awareness? You are not aware about your country
sir,
and what not aware about the international.
Earlier, I had no idea about the politics and the economics, hence I was not familiar. But after getting into UPSC preparation, I have started understanding.
Okay. What is your priority as a civil servant? Suppose you become an IAS. Tell me the 3 prioritized things that you look into.
Sir, I would like to work for the rural development. And the second thing is related to health. The third one being women and gender equality.
Very objective question. That the contribution of women as a workforce has increased or decreased? As a rural development, what you said?
Sir, it is increased, but there are...
Are you aware about any data that is prompting the fact that it had increased? It had decreased.
Yes, sir.
Because of so many mechanization done in the rural sector.
Sir,
particularly in agriculture, when agriculture became mechanized, obviously women lost many jobs.
Sir, but there is an other phase also where we see there is a feminization of agriculture, and in certain sectors the women are still dominating. For example,
nowhere women is dominating. Which sector you are telling women is dominating?
So, for example, MSME, textile.
You have mentioned your hobby as morning walk.
Yes, sir.
Now, hobby is something that a person does when he is having a leisure time.
Yes.
So, how specifically the morning walk could be a hobby? What if I am having some leisure in the noon?
Sir, I do have other habits, but I don't follow them passionately. This I do regularly, and
so it is a part of your routine.
yes.
That every when you start your day, you started with a walk. Hobby is something which we can do anytime. When I have a leisure time, it could be into the noon, it could be into the evening, it could be into the night. I have a leisure time, I do my hobby. So specifically morning walk might be a part of a routine but not a hobby. Can we say that?
Yes.
Okay. Mamatha, recently the Juvenile Justice Amendment Bill has been cleared by Parliament.
Yes.
Can you tell that what this bill is all about and how it is different from the Juvenile Justice Amendment Act of 2015?
Sir, the juvenile justice defines the child as a juvenile below 18 years. And sorry sir, I am yet to update about it.
Mamatha, nowadays we are hearing a lot about the Reserve Bank of India's plan to introduce a digital currency, the central bank digital currency. Can you explain that what is this digital currency and how it will be different from the transactions that we are already having, where I can transfer money to some other person into a digital mode? So how the transactions here will be different and what this whole concept is all about?
Sir, it is about cryptocurrency, you mean, where instead of physical money, the money in the digital format is transferred, and there will be more transparency in the transaction. So that helps in curbing the black money and the corruption.
Okay. Mamatha, recently the periodic labor force survey, it came out 2019-20. Have you read it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is the trend with respect to the unemployment? Has unemployment increased or is it decreased?
Sir, it is increased in the current trend. Now it is at 6% at national level.
Are you sure? Because the 6.1% was, I think, from 2017-18.
Sorry sir, I'll look into that. I thought that was the figure.
In fact, this year's periodic labor force survey, it has been said that our unemployment has decreased. Okay, which is in fact surprising thing, because we were into the times of pandemic and how unemployment got decreased. Okay, that is also a question. Can you think of any objective way in which we can explain that how unemployment has decreased into the pandemic year?
Sir, the people working under the Manrega have been increased, and many people have started their self-employment job.
No, in fact, so many of the people have lost their job also, and the people who got entitled under MG-Narega, they are very less in comparison to the numbers who have lost their jobs.
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware.
Okay, do read about it. It's more with respect to the methodology. Mamatha, with respect to the foreign policy, we follow the neighborhood first policy. But at the same time, if we see with our neighbors, our relations are not very much good. With Nepal, we have Kalapani dispute. The Sri Lanka, it passed recently the Colombo Port City Bill, where the China was given much of a stake into the development. With the Bangladesh also, we are having the issues onto the Citizenship Amendment Act. So we follow the neighborhood first policy, but our relations with the neighbors are not good. What went wrong?
Sir, we should have friendly relations with our neighbor. More than that, we should ensure we should keep our national security and sovereignty and the interest of the nation at higher places. So, keeping in these minds, I think the neighboring nations are taking it as negative. The policies what we have undertaken.
Okay. Thank you, Mamatha.
Thank you.